I'm Bill Whitney, and we're here in West Chicago in late April. It's April 28th, and it's been an unusually cold April here in northern Illinois. And I often get asked by beekeepers, can we still install packages in this cold weather? The answer is yes, but there are a few things to consider. So we're going to go through installing a package. I've already gotten the process started a little bit. As you may already know, we've got a can of syrup that's in with this package, and we had a queen that was held up with this strap, and I pulled her out. You make sure that the queen is okay. She's a beauty, and you'll notice that I have the candy pointed down, and even though I have comb, it's cold right now, and sometimes when you try to press in on this wax, the wax is real brittle in this cold weather. So I like to add a rubber band just to give me more assurance that she's not going to drop to the bottom of the box. If she does, the bees don't always keep her warm. They won't always go down and cluster around him. They're going to be up in the top. So you want to give yourself the best chance at keeping her alive. The other thing, I'm not going to use this frame so much, but the other thing is, when you do put her in here, make sure that she's facing in this direction. So when you put another frame next to her, you don't have that cage right there and covering her up. You want those bees to be able to get at her and feed her. With this strap, you can tape it, you can cut it off, whatever works for you. You just want to make sure she does not fall to the bottom. Also, I just want to make the comment that anytime you're working with installing a package, make sure you do everything over the hive box or over the lid. That way, when you put it all back together, you don't have bees all around on the ground. They're all right here. One thing that I want to, another tip that I like to talk about is don't spend a lot of time shaking. I see beekeepers shake and shake and shake, and you don't need to do that. I spend maybe 2 to 3 seconds, and I'll get 90% of these bees out. You want to shake back and forth, not up and down. They're just going to come out of this hole here. A couple of considerations to keep in mind is you'll notice also that I have removed several frames in the center here. I want those bees to comfortably go in there into the box and crawl up on the frames that I have already presented with them. I should have mentioned that we're also including a frame of honey that we pulled out of the hives from last year. Before I stick this honey frame in, I'm gonna scrape it all up. I want to get that wax all scraped up because the bees won't actually. Hold on a second. The bees actually won't use this stored honey unless it's a real emergency, and I want them to start using it to feed those developing larvae that they're soon going to have in there. But another consideration, if you are going to put honey in, the bees can't use the honey straight to feed the larvae. They have to have water, and with it being so cold like this, I'm going to put some syrup in as well as this honey, so they can thin out the honey, make some royal jelly, and feed their larvae. By just lightly scratching up this wax, that causes them to want to fix that up, and then they'll use that honey. Alright, so this is a little unusual because I don't normally have this many bees on the outside of a package, but as you're going to see, it's only going to take me a few seconds and I can get the majority of these bees out of here. So So you can see that now that there's about 95% of the bees out of this package. And I'm going to give them a few minutes to kind of crawl up, cluster around that queen, and that was a little bit disruptive, so I want to give them a chance to just kind of calm down. Another thing that I like to do that I didn't really mention, but I like to put my frames right next to me here like this, so if any bees don't get in the box, they're going to land on the frame, and that's exactly what they did. Alright, they're crawling up those frames real nicely. Again, I'm putting all my gear on top of the hive. There's not as many bees on here. I do want to keep everybody in the box. A nice quick wrap, and those bees are there. The other thing is, now I'm going to give these guys a little more persuasive, a little more percussive persuasion to get into a cluster in the box. So when I wrap this, I'm going to wrap it right by the entrance. So any bees that were on the outside, they'll crawl up into the entrance, and they're not all over the floor of the ground here. You can see I have them in a cluster, fall right through that hole. And again, I'm not taking any time at all to do this. There are still a couple dozen bees in there. You can put it next to in the cold weather, you can put it close by that entrance. They will crawl out of there and go into the hive. Now that I have my queen secured on a frame, I can gently put these frames together, and I'm not squeezing. You want her to be the first frame to go in, not the last, so you're not having to squeeze in and accidentally jostle her. Okay. I wasn't prepared to have a feeder in these hives at this time of year, because we typically have a lot warmer weather. So I made a makeshift feeder, and it seems to be working pretty well in my other nukes. It's just a Ziploc bag with a strip cut out of a kid's floaty, and so the bees don't drown. And I've been feeding bees the last week or so with these, and they really do fine in them. One thing is, if they do empty out, the bees have a tendency to chew through it, so you may have to replace these Ziploc bags. But the thing that I like about it is it fits into a 5-frame nuke without having to take another frame out. And that's it. After I feed it, I'll close it up. Just one quick mention. I'm putting in a 5-frame nuke. If you can restrict their space in cold weather, like this small 5-frame nuke, that's best.